See what I'm doing? I'm spiraling the wire around the tip of my pliers, and I'm just about finished. That's perfect. Right about that point I stop. Now what I tell my students in class is to imagine when they're doing this that the plier is the epicenter upon which the wire is going to orbit around. The wire never touches the pair of pliers. The pliers simply hold it in shape and the wire spirals around. Let me get another piece of wire and point it. I don't want to block it. The wire spirals around the center of the plier. The plier shape isn't used to create the shape of the earring. It's simply used to hold the metal in place while you spiral it around the center of the tip of the plier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. I'm not going to do any more work with that. There's another step, of course, that follows. But before I go to that step, I want to be able to bend the other one and get it as close to that as possible. So I'll take this, grab the tip like we just did in the previous example, and I'm spiraling it around the tip of the plier. The plier holds it in shape, in place. The plier does the bending. The left hand does the guiding of the wire. And I have my fingernail resting on the wire. That helps maintain the shape. Now what I'm going to do at this point, I have two wires that have been bent. Before I open them up, and that's the next step to actually open them up, I'm going to compare them. If they line up fairly well, you know, one is close to the configuration of the other, then I'm in good shape. If there's a big difference, they're not going to look the same when you open them up, and they won't make a nice pair of earrings. This isn't bad, actually. Kind of surprised because I didn't pay too much attention to when I was forming that one. But there we go. So what do we do next? The next step is to take that coil, or it could be a bead that you've used, move it around until it's positioned like that. Having positioned it like that, I'll take my two fingernails. Actually, before I open it up, I make sure the hoop that I created is not at a strange angle like it is now. I'll bend it so it's actually, how could I say this? Is it perpendicular? See how it lines up? It just, yeah, I guess it just lines up parallel to the wire that's running down to create the spine of the earring. And I'll place my fingernails now in that spine and pry it open. There we go. That's nice. I think you have an idea of what's emerging here. I'll take my flat nose plier, grab the top, because it has to be bent, it's a little curved, and I'll straighten it out. And I'm squeezing a little, trying to firm up that metal. But so far, that's where we're at. See how that unravels? That's nice. Now, I'm going to take the other one, same thing. I'm going to bend, I'm going to move the coil down. Take my fingers, make sure this is straightened out. And open up. Putting my fingers in the spine of the piece, pry it open, gently pry it open. Now I'll continue to shape anything that may need adjustment, and there we have it. We have two. You can see why I call them upside down hearts. They remind me of upside down hearts. One more thing I do before we end this, well, there's actually two more things. What you're going to want to do is attach them to ear wires. All kinds of varieties of ear wires out there. different styles are available, so at your own discretion, buy whatever you like. I bought these in the city, in the jewelry district, the sterling silver. They're very typical, but they're nice. They're functional. They're nice. What I would recommend is you get one of those little neoprene ear wire stops. They attach right there and right there. They prevent the ear wire from sliding out of your ear when you're wearing it. I could think of many a pair of earrings I made for my wife that had been lost only because of that little detail, and it's kind of upsetting when you lose something that you've taken the time to make, especially if that's gold. So what's the final step, the way I conclude this? I usually have a little anvil. Move this into the range of the camera. And what I like to do, I don't go crazy with this, but I like to just gently tap the metal, flatten the metal out a little bit. What it does with a shape like this is it improves the shape. It expands the metal a little bit, and by doing that, evens out the round curvilinear nature of the piece. It just smooths it out, makes it a nicer piece. I'm not pounding this, I'm just tapping it ever so lightly, enough to temper the metal a bit and round it. There we go, that's nice. Same thing now on this side. Now, having done that, I'll look at them, and if I need, I'll bend in areas. I don't want to do too much work at this point, because now you run the risk of ruining it, you know, over bending something that you can't correct. They are as close as they need to be. When someone's wearing them, they're never going to be able to see the slight variations that might occur. It probably would be nicer to have a bead in there, a nice wooden bead, or a glass bead if you could find one that fits. To end them, take your ear wire, open it up, and put it on the piece. Close it. We have a nice finished earring. It's finished.